Have you ever watched yourself think? Because most people have never actually watched themselves think. Even though they've had millions and hundreds of thousands of thoughts, they've never separated from the stream long enough to realize that there is a thinker doing the thinking. And that gap, that space between you and your own mental activity, is what neuroscience calls metacognition. But this is nothing new here other than that specific name, because science is finally just catching up to the observer, which is one of the most sophisticated human functions that the brain is capable of. And for most people, that ability is running at near zero. But it's not because everyone isn't capable. We are. Everyone has that capability, but no one has ever trained them how to use it. So let's jump into the brain real quick. The medial prefrontal cortex is the primary architecture of self-referential awareness. Now, when this region is engaged consistently and deliberately, then the quality of every other cognitive function changes. So decision making will sharpen, your emotional reactivity will decrease, and the automatic patterns that have been running your responses without your permission start to become visible. And once something becomes visible, then we can begin to work with it. Now, there's also something in the neuroscientific literature that does not fit the fully fit the standard model of theirs, and it is called the rose hip neuron. Let's talk about it. It's large, it has an unusual structure, and it appears to only exist in human brains. And its behavior confounds the standard framework because, unlike most neurons, it does not appear to be broadcasting signals outward into the network. It seems to be monitoring them, witnessing, because it is. Can I get a witness is a very deep subject for another signal, but simply put, if nothing saw it, it never happened, and that plays a gargantuan role in what we are doing here as humans, having an experience on behalf of and as the universe. But here's what is documented. It exists, and it appears to be uniquely human, and that function looks closer to witnessing and transmitting. You see, when science finally realizes that none of this is new and that the ancients wrote about this hundreds and thousands of years ago, we will make huge strides forward and close that gap. Ancient traditions spent thousands of years pointing at the same thing from a different direction. The Vedic sages called it the Sakshi, the eternal witness. The Stoics called it the ruling faculty, and the Zen Buddhists, well, they've been pointing at it obliquely for centuries, refusing to name it because doing so tends to collapse it, which is another clue. Every tradition that reached the center of this work had the exact same description, that there is a part of you that has never been confused, never been swept away, and never been lost in the storm because it is the one watching the storm. Now listen, all of that is great, but we don't teach you through reading and telling here. You learn by doing. So I created the protocol and the experience so you can do exactly that. This one is called the Observer Protocol, and it is 7 days of structured, science-based training that builds that capacity from the inside out. So day one, you're going to find the position, and day by day, the scope will expand. So you'll go from watching a single object to watching your thoughts, to watching your emotional patterns, to watching yourself move through your actual life. And by day 7, you will carry the observer with you throughout an entire day. In every conversation, every decision, every moment of pressure or ease or unease that's unexpected difficulty, the observer will be there. And it's not a performance, this is a practice. Some of us are really familiar with this one when we have done a lot of self-discovery work, but what you gain with this protocol is a technique that you can apply to your everyday life, not something you just do once and forget. You will have the capacity to be inside your own experience and watching it at the same time, to catch a thought before it becomes a reaction, to feel an emotion without being driven by it, and to see the pattern while running instead of days after it's already completed. But the observer does not fix you, it shows you. It does not decide for you either. It just provides the clarity for decision in a place of non-attachment considering the outcome. And what it shows you changes everything that comes after that. So this is the work, homie. 7 days, 7 ways. The Observer Protocol is now available at node13.co already. It will be on Patreon later this afternoon and archetype13.com in the next few days. or you can send to the pay links on the bio. Just provide your email and a note of which experience you're looking for, and I will send it directly to you. And listen, I have built shit that will show you things you could have never seen otherwise. So as long as you are willing to show up and do the work, participation is required here, or you can keep scrolling TikTok and watch some random channelers tell you that boom, one day you'll be a millionaire and no work is required. Good luck with that. No13.co to get no13.co to get it now. Patreon, Archetype 13, it will be there. Get your ass to work.